In this video, we'll explore a very important targeting topic within Facebook ads, and that would be the custom audiences. So custom audiences can be found in the Audience Manager. So you do need to use the Audience Manager to create them. You can find them here in the audiences, and I am already in Audience Manager, and you can go here to create audience and go with a custom audience. So what will happen is you will see a large number of options over here. So they are generally separated in two categories. So one would be your sources, that would be your website, app, your own CRM, customer list, or any offline activities that you have with the offline events. Or you could have the Facebook sources, which could be videos, Instagram accounts, lead forms, events, instant experiences, shopping, Facebook listings, and Facebook pages. So we'll explore pretty much all of them in this video, just to make sure that you understand how all of them work. First, we'll start with the website ones, because they are really the most commonly used and the most important probably. So in order to create and use the Facebook website custom audiences, you do need to have your Facebook pixel set up, obviously, because what you want to do is you want to use your events, especially the e-commerce events or kind of the standard events. So anyone who has completed any of these standard events will be added to your audience. So let's say that we want to create, for example, a warm audience for people who have visited our website and have seen our product page. So let's say, let's call them page view, and we can refine by a given URL parameter. So let's say that they visited startup-masters.com, Masters Academy. Right, so that would be the landing page visitors. And we can create that audience and save it. So anyone who has visited this page within the last 30 days is going to see our is going to be in our audience. Obviously, once you do create that, it will take some time for Facebook to actually populate your audience, and that's completely fine. So let's make another one. Now, another thing that we could that we often do is the add to carters. So we can add them by some special value, like for example, people who have added to cart more than let's say $90, and you can create over here some parameters, right? And that could be currency or value, doesn't matter. And so this audience would be added more than $90 in the last 30 days. We can also say added to cart. So that's another one that we can create. Let's go ahead and make some more examples with that, because those are quite important audiences that you're going to be using quite a lot. So let's say another one is going to be the purchase. So that would be everyone who has completed the purchase event within the last 30 days, and that would be purchasers last 30 days, and add that. We can also create one that is for the last 90 days. So everyone who has completed the purchase within the last 90 days. I think 180 is the maximum. So let's do that. 180 purchases last 180 days, or last 6 months. You could look at it in any way you want. So obviously these audiences have a tremendous amount of use. So for example, you can use them to create a more sophisticated chain of ads. So just like we explored in the customer journeys, for example, when a customer comes to your website and completes a certain action, but does not complete the next step in the customer journey, then you can have ads that try to follow up and kind of bring forth additional arguments for you to be able to convert that person. So let's say, for example, they come and visit our landing page, but bounce. So they've seen it, they're considering it, and now they're maybe doing their checkup, or maybe they forgot about it. So we can give them a few reminders, but now they do know who we are. And so we can use that to our advantage and advertise for things that are directly related to our product. Maybe we could showcase some certain features. We could use create a remarketing campaign where we show them testimonials of people who have already signed up. That's another thing that we frequently do. We can show a series of ads that showcase different important features of our product or service. We could bring trust factors forward, and maybe even as a last resort, give them an offer, create an offer ad, which I'll show you later how to do, to basically create like a last resort, maybe 10, 20, 50% off of your product or service so that they can complete their purchase, right? Obviously, then if they have taken a further action, like an add to cart, you could maybe send them a reminder that they haven't finished their cart a few times, and then maybe offer them an additional incentive or a promotion, maybe show some more testimonials or trust factors or comparison between your product or service or not. Or if the purchase is a little bit harder than usual, you could also start nurturing these customers by, for example, getting them to follow you on your social media channels so that you can engage further with them. Maybe get them to sign up for your blog or subscribe to your YouTube channel or to your mailing list so that they can get more information and kind of go a little bit smoother through the consideration phase. Because obviously if they haven't purchased, they're still in the consideration phase, and maybe they chose a competitor already, maybe not. So it's also important for you to have a certain limit where you actually stop advertising and decide, all right, these people are not interested anymore with our ads and we don't need to show them any more ads. So you can do that in several various ways. Right now we're focusing still though on the audiences. Now there are several reasons in which for which you might create like such a large audience, like people who have purchased from you in the last 180 days, and that would be creating a lookalike audience. We'll discuss lookalike audiences in the next video, but it's important for you to know that there might be some additional uses to these audiences. Now, for example, you could also import a customer list of your own for specific cases. So let's say that maybe you want to advertise some new cool stuff that's coming out to your existing customers, for which you do have a database, you have their email, you have their phone numbers, and you have additional information about them. So, for example, we could use that within Masters Academy to announce new courses. Just create an audience with all of our customers, upload it to Facebook, and then we'll be advertising with a very small budget to everyone who has signed up for Masters Academy and show them, hey, there's new courses out, or there's new additions to the library, new stuff happening in the blog, the YouTube channel, whatever. And so that's how you can use the customer list. They basically need a CSV or a TXT file, and you can see that you have to include at least one main identifier. Generally, that would be the email address or the phone number. You can also use the mobile advertiser ID or Facebook app user ID if they're using your Facebook apps, or Facebook page user ID, but first name and last name are really not very good. Now you can give some additional information, but that's really not that important. It's important for you to export the right lists. So let's say maybe customers who did something, or maybe churned customers who you lost and you want to gain back, maybe customers who haven't purchased for the last 60 or 90 days or for the last 6 months, and you have kind of lost them and you want to bring them back. Maybe you can offer something to them through an ad like that, and you can easily export that from your backend system, whether it's a CRM or your e-commerce store, or your even sometimes your email marketing software like Klaviyo, for example, is a good example where you can export your segments of people who are currently, for example, in a given segment, let's say, have not purchased in the last 6 months, and then you could create an audience out of that. Another reason for you to use the customer list would be, for example, to export your most valuable customers, your MVPs. So if these people purchase, let's say on average 5 times more than others, you could export them and then create a lookalike audience from Facebook and kind of say, hey, I want more people like that, which would definitely make sense. You can see the formatting guidelines over here. You can also import from MailChimp, which is not very useful anymore if you use Shopify, and that's why we use Klaviyo, but it's kind of the same process. You can see how the formatting works over here, but kind of the easiest way to do that is just to download the template. And this template, once you open it up, will kind of show you example information. Let me just bring it up over here to show you how it looks. Sort these columns. So you have your emails. You can have multiple emails for one person, which is completely fine. And then you have phone numbers. Again, you can have multiple phone numbers for one single person. And then maybe you can add some additional information. But it's more important just to name your audiences and export the lists correctly so that you are targeting the right people. So that's pretty much it about customer lists and kind of how they are used. And app activity is pretty much similar. You can create it with your app events. So if you have a specific app like I do here, then you can have certain events that are happening within your app, and all the events that your Facebook Pixel is tracking, including the custom events that you create, will appear here, and you can target them just like you do with the website users. So that's not really a big deal. And the offline event set works in a similar way. We don't have an offline event set for this ad account, so I can't really show you how it works. But pretty much that would be people who have interacted with your business in store, and you have some way to identify them. Maybe they have a customer card, or maybe you could detect them as their main identifier by some ID that you have about them or anything like that. But you do need to be able to kind of link those to your Facebook users, and that's why the offline event sets are very, very useful. Now, the Facebook sources are also very, very interesting. One of the most interesting is actually video. So video can be used in various creative ways. So the main point of it is that, for example, let's say you can see people who have watched at least 25% of your video, and then you can choose a specific video. So I'm not going to choose a video right now because that's not important. But let's say people who have seen our video in the last 30 days, or it could be even up to 365, so a year back. And then you can just give this audience a name. So you make a video on Facebook, you post it on Facebook, a lot of people see it, let's say it goes viral or it doesn't matter. You can create an audience of the people who have seen that video. Now, obviously, a lot of these could be already your followers, but a way to use that very creatively is to post a specific video only in a given Facebook group. So what happens then is that once you post that video and it's only in a specific certain Facebook group, then you can be targeting with ads people from a specific Facebook group. And that's actually the only way to do that. You can't do this in any other way. And it's a very cool and creative use of the videos. And kind of how you can create video audiences. Another way to use this type of audience is if you have an awareness campaign. So imagine that you have an awareness campaign with a video, which obviously, if you do remember, just to kind of make it a little bit more clear, we'll open Ads Manager. And so we want people who engage more with our videos. And again, the best objective for that is the brand awareness, right? Because this campaign objective is tracking how long people spend with your content. And if you go for video views, it's actually counting the 3-second video views, which does not mean that people have actually seen your entire video. So if you want people who have seen a longer piece of your video, the best option to go is brand awareness and not video views specifically. Now, another option that you could use also is the engagement. So people who have seen a certain video and maybe liked it or engaged with it and kind of had a little bit more engagement with it. Now, let's go back to our custom audience. And those are some of the creative ways in which you can use video audiences. And they could be very, very useful. Now, another one is if you have an Instagram account and you are running ads on Instagram or just have a very popular organic Instagram profile, then you can create an audience of people who have visited or interacted with your Instagram profile, whether that's posts or ads. And obviously, you do need to have a professional account, which can be either a business or a creator account to do that. It all says it over there on the right. And you can see how that works. So anyone who visited your profile, people who engaged with any post or ad, people who sent a message to your professional account, or people who saved any post or ad. Now, generally, out of these options, we tend to use everyone who engaged with your professional account, which pretty much means that they visited your profile, took an action on your post or ad, or did comment or save or message you or kind of use the tag or share. That's kind of the most broad option. And if you want to kind of have a little bit of a more specific audience, then you could select people who engaged with any post or ad. If you have a video that has quite a large audience, that's another thing that you can do. Now, in this case, generally what we tend to use is people who engage with your professional account. And there's 2 ways to use that. In the general case, we use it to advertise to them directly. And another creative use that we could use to do that would be, for example, people who have engaged deeply with your account or any post or ad may already be aware of your business, and so you can maybe send them a call to action ad to get them to go to your landing page, maybe purchase your product, or even follow you. It's if you want to build a bit of a stronger profile, creating campaigns for building followers is a good way to use these Instagram custom audiences as well. And generally, we tend to just use them as people who are kind of at the early stage of the consideration stage of the customer journey, and we want to kind of get them to our landing page. So traffic campaigns would be a good follow-up to these guys over here. Now, the lead form is another interesting one. So we use lead forms, and I will show you how to create lead ads and lead campaigns later on in this course. But we use the lead forms here. Those would be the people who have actually granted Facebook permission to give you their data and become a lead. So they're already in your database and they have signed up to be a lead. But do you really want to advertise to all of them after they've become a lead is a question for you to answer. It's a bit complicated because if they're a lead now, maybe your follow-up should not be with ads. So it could be that you may have to follow them up via phone, via email, maybe add them to an email chain or something like that. But really advertising to those people would not be a good idea. A good idea to use lead form audiences would be to create lookalike audiences. So those would be people who have already signed up for a lead, and to become a lead, then you can create a lead audience. So let's say anyone who opened and submitted a certain form for a given page, and then after they have submitted this form, then they are leads. So if they're leads, this means that we can create this audience, call it leads. We need to select a specific form. In this case, let's select an account, select a form, and then that would let us create the audience. So if I create that, I'm not gonna do that because we don't want this audience actually over here. Once we create this audience, we can then, we're not gonna use that specific audience within an ad set to make ads for it directly. But what we could do is, all right, let's create one. Then after we create that audience, we can then create a lookalike audience, and let's say people who are within 3% similar to these, and that would be let's say we were big on Canada. And this is how I can create an audience that's a lookalike audience to the people who have signed up for my leads. And this way I can create and expand my lead campaigns. So that's one thing. Good way to show you how to delete an audience is like that. You just select it, hit delete, and we go back to our audiences. Now, one thing that is very common to do if you are creating events. So let's say that you have a club or a bar and you created an amazing party and a lot of people signed up for it. But that was a long time ago. Maybe they signed up a week ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, or even longer. So once they have signed up for your event, then maybe it might be a good time to remind them to attend the event, actually, especially if it's free to attend, because people might say that they're interested and that they like it, and RSVP say they're going, but then not go, forget about it, or anything else. And then this is how you can use the event audiences, and you have a lot of options. So people who have responded with going, people who are interested, people who have visited the engaged the event page, people who engaged, people who entered the ticket purchase flow, people who got tickets, or people who abandoned the ticket purchase flow. So maybe someone got to the ticket stage, just they kind of added the ticket to cart but didn't finish it, and so you can maybe create remarketing campaigns and kind of a bit of a stronger campaign chain from your RSVP campaigns or your event campaigns. So obviously that's how you would use the event campaigns. Also, sometimes they can be used as remarketing audiences. So people who have attended your event on Facebook or people who have purchased tickets, then you can use those audiences and again create lookalike audiences from that. Same kind of goes for instant experiences. So instant experiences, shopping, and on Facebook listings are kind of the same. They're the so-called on Facebook experiences or instant experiences. And what they are is, for example, if you have an ad, let's just kind of quickly go and make an ad just to showcase that, and we'll be creating those types of ads later on. So let's go with this one and create a new ad. That would be instant experience. So here you can see you can have a full screen mobile experience, which can be a conversion on its own. So these instant experiences are used when you want to create ads where you can convert the customers without them coming to your website. So you convert them directly in Facebook. The downside is that they don't come to your website. The benefit is that they don't come to your website. So just to explain, if it's not needed for people to leave Facebook to convert and you can extract the value from them, then that's good. So a good example is the lead forms. So you don't need them to come to your website and complete the lead form over there. They can complete it on Facebook, and then you can give them a call and everything is fine. So that's just one example. So here you have lots of examples for instant experiences. Let's just choose some kind of template, and then you can kind of make a mini landing page, which is what these instant experiences actually are on Facebook, so that they don't have to leave your website. Or maybe you can show them a collection of, let's say, shoes and dresses, and then you can send them to the right place after they've been through the instant experience. Right, so this is how you can use the instant experience audience targeting to select something that they can be used. So for example, I have a reviews from my customers experience, and then I could create a follow-up to that experience. It's the same with shopping, where you can create an audience of the people who interacted with your products in a shopping experience or on Facebook or Instagram. This is the Facebook and Instagram shops, which are kind of new. And if you do have one, here's where you can create an audience of the people who actually interacted with your Facebook and Instagram store. And that would be for the on Facebook listings or your catalog. So people who interacted with your catalog would be created as a custom audience from over here. So at the end, just to summarize, we create custom audiences for people who have already had certain interactions with our business. So whether that's going to be our Facebook page, our online store, our blog, a video that we posted somewhere, maybe in a group to target the specific group users, or maybe people who have added something to the cart, or they're already our customers who we've lost. For anyone who has interacted with our business, they started their customer journey, got to a certain point, but did not finish it. We can create custom audiences to retarget these customers and kind of get them to move on further with their customer journey. Another way in which we use custom audiences is to create data sets of specific people, specific audiences of our users or customers who we then want to create a lookalike audience for. So an example of that would be all of our customers in the last 6 months, and we just create a lookalike audience and say, hey, we want more people like this. We could do that with our most valuable customers, people who spent the most money. Maybe let's say your average customer lifetime value is $1,000, and then you have maybe 5, 10, 20% of your customers are going to have a lifetime value of, let's say, $10,000. So they are very, very much more valuable than the rest of your customers. So you could create an audience, a custom audience for them, and then create a lookalike audience for the most valuable customers and kind of get more people like that. So that's pretty much everything there is to know about custom audiences. We'll be using them a lot throughout the course, so make sure you check them out and kind of go ahead and create yours, specifically the ones that I have shown you the examples. Think about what steps in the customer journey are problematic for your business and create a custom audience that kind of selects that specific audience of people who maybe didn't go through the customer journey, and then you can use that for retargeting, or for the ones who completed it, create a custom audience and then a lookalike audience for these customers so that you can get more like them, right? So that's it about custom audiences, and I'll see you guys in the next video.